Okay, so here we're looking at quiz 1.2, 1.3, and how to do the linear regressions within Excel. So the nice thing about our book here is when we click this little button here, we can say open in Excel, and it pops open thing once it opens anyway, and we'll be able to get our data and everything there. We won't have to copy and paste. It'll just open up into Excel, and we should be good to go. So once that finally opens, we will show you what we have here. And let me sit there and do this. Now I'm gonna have to switch where I'm sharing to the Excel file. And so here with Excel, what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to uh, do the time since 1992. Well, if that means time since 1992, we have to have that as zero. So what I'm going to suggest is insert a new column. And then we're going to say, okay, well, let's say this is equal to, and then whatever that is minus whatever that is. But we're going to set what we subtract off in stone. So we're going to always say we're going to subtract off A2, no matter what we do. And that way we can copy this down hitting Control D, and it gives us time since 1982. So this is time since 19 or 92, sorry, 92. Okay. And so that's what we want for our X's. And then we want to plot our Y's as the men and the women. So we're going to just highlight both of these because we're just going to make a graph, and it's going to take this is our X, this is our first Y, this is our X, this is our second Y. And so doing that, we hit insert. We come over here to the scatter, and we just do a scatter plot, and we just do a general scatter plot. Now, that's nice and pretty, but that's not what it asks for. It asks for the linear regression. So we have to right click here and add trend line. Now, hopefully your computer, Excel, pops up format the trend line where we can display the equation and our R squared value on that line. And then we can do the same thing here. We can so right click, add trend line, and we want to display the equation on our line. All right, so with that done now, let's go back and make sure we have the correct answer. So let me see here if we can, we won't be able to see all of it, but I'm just going to check. And so for the women, it's supposed to be a negative 0.074. We got a negative 0.074 and then a 55.502. So that looks good. Men is supposed to be a negative 0.097, a negative 0.097, and a 50.157. So it looks like we have the correct linear regressions for our actual equations they asked for. So if we go back over here, it does give us those two equations there that we have. Now, based on the regressions times, will the women's time eventually catch up to the men's? Well, then you have to set those equal and see if they're ever going to cross. And that's going to be kind of a key thing to decide if they do or not. And then if it does, then you say yes. If not, say no. Now, the other type of equation we have to do is we'll have two sets of data. And the key thing is when we're reading our question, it says the X is the supply and X is the demand. Well, if we notice it has price first, then supply, price first, then demand. So that means when we get to our data, we're going to have to play with it a little bit first. So doing that, let's open up our Excel again, and will it open here? There, we got it open. Now let's share into the Excel file. And so now we've got our Excel file, and we want not this one, we want the other one. Don't save that one. This is the one we want. Oops. This is the one we want. And so this is the data that we just downloaded. And so what we want to do is we want to make this Rx for the price of that one and this Rx for the price of that one. So I'm just going to say, okay, well, let's cut that and then let's insert the cut cells here. So then we have supply with the price, and we'll do the same thing here. We'll cut it and we'll insert it here. So then what we can do is we can say, okay, well, let's get this system going. And so when we do that, what we have to do is we're going to, again, insert, hello, insert, there we go. And we're going to do a graph, and we do a right click, add trend line, display the equation in R squared. And so this is going to be a 0.1922x plus 0.8753. And that's going to be for our supply. Now our demand will do the same thing. We're going to insert and we're going to do a graph. This one's going to be add trend line. And let's insert the equations here. And it's a point, negative 0.117 and 3.246. So now let's go and see, does that match with what we're supposed to have? So let's go back over here. And it's supposed to be a, let's see, shrink this down. You won't be able to see this, but our first one we got said that we had negative negative 0.1173426, and that's what we got. 3246 rounds to 325, and a 117 to 12 is what we get because it says to two decimal places. And our other one we got for the supply, we got a 0.1922, and this is 0.19, and a 0.8753, so that rounds to 0.88. So that's correct. And now what we have to do is we just have to set those two equations equal and solve for the y equals whatever. And so I'll let you do that. But plotting the equations or plotting the data points and actually getting our trend equations, that's what we were looking at here on how to do. So hopefully that will help you with this assignment.